This time I'm going to have Bastion do a charge. So we've got 6 action points. He's going to charge around. 1, 2. We've got 4 action points left, so that's 3. We've got some rubble here. And rubble is going to cost an additional 2 action points to move into. So that's going to be 3 to move in here. 2, 3. That's used up all of our actions. But remember, we do have cards in our hand. So, you know, I could have used, well, I can use any of these really. And the nest, remember, we're trying to beat 2. So we can use the Sorcerer's Scorched Sun for 3. And then perhaps Call of the Desert Spirits for 7. That's a big hit, but it will take this nest out. And I'm almost tempted to use an additional 3 to move in here. Let's do that. We can still attack diagonally. This is a threatening space, so actually it's going to cost an additional 1 more, so that's 4 action points to move across here. So 4 to move across there, and then I'm going to use 5. This is one big swing. 5 to do my attack. Although, no, I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna just play the 2 because my attack is 4. That's 6. So it's 6 versus 2. 6 versus 4. We've got it. So that's another hit on the nest. We really want to take this thing out. And the reason I wanted to do that attack from there is because now Simmer still has line of sight on this nest. Remember, he gets 7 action points. So Simmer's going to spend 1, 2, and this gives an aimed shot. Plus 1 attack, 1 movement. So that's 2 attack plus 1, that's 3. And whatever we can add. I was interested in doing that, but is that overkill? Yeah, no, I've got to do it, haven't I? So it's 3 plus 4 is 7, plus a card draw, 7, 9. That's pretty good. And the nest, it's got 2 plus 2, 4, that's the final hit. This is out of here. Pretty sweet. That's going to help us big time. A couple of things happen here. This becomes a rubble space. I haven't got a token. Remember, this is just prototype, so I'll just put that there to remind us this is now rubble. And alarm has spread a little bit here. So the threat level is going to go up 1. It's creeping up towards 2. What that means now is that those insectoids cannot spawn. There's no nest. And then Simmer gets the 1 move. Let's just pop 1 space forward. And now Elazabal. Now Elazabal's only got 4 action points. 1, 2, 3. I think we're just going to go around and do a rest action to show us how this works. This is how we get more cards in our hand. So what we do with the rest action is we shuffle our spent cards back in. So we reset our discard. And then we draw back up to our starting hand size, which was 5. So it's just 1 card. And we've got agility. Oh, it gives us a 1 and a +1 card. So, never mind. Not wonderful, but still. Now let's do that enemy turn. It's a 3 this time. Wow. 3 is bad, because what's going to happen, and you can use 2 to help here if you wish, is we're going to go 1, 2, 3, but we're going to execute every action on the way there. So first off is a spawn. The circle is the primary spawn, the square the secondary spawn. So we look at our scenario again. This is our primary spawn pool and our secondary spawn pool. Now this insectoid, the bone worm, and in fact this Rotica as well, since we've killed the nest, it's not going to spawn. So instead we can choose, we'll take the Guardian, he's the weaker opponent. And we only pick one because that's where the threat meter is. If the threat meter was at 2, we'd have to pick 2 enemies. And they spawn, the cultists, these humanoid ones, they spawn at trapdoors. And they spawn at adjacent points. There's only 3 adjacent points, 1, 2, 3. That's no entry space, and these diagonals aren't adjacent. Now we take the next action, which is going to be a move. And enemies move in a priority order. So it's insectoids first, there's only one on the map. This one, and they move. Let's see, this is the Chilean has a movement of 3 towards the closest hero. 1, 2, 3. Next, the guards move in, and guards have a movement of 3, and they stay at 3 range. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. So he's actually going to stay back here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And I think we'll move this one. 1, 2, 3. Then this one. 1, 2, 3. And then finally our summoner has a teleports at 6 range. I think he's going to head up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Actually, I think with the summoner, as a rule, he'll target the weakest hero. So the one with the lowest is this one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe he'll. No, he's got to stay at furthest range. Yeah, if he moves in closer, he's going to be closer to him. So, no, he's going to stay as far away as possible. That's where he's going to stay. Now we do the final movement on the enemy watchstone. 1 spot to the attack space. Okay, we'll go in priority order once more. So the insectoid first. He has a range of 1 to 2. 1, 2. So we are just in range of the Chilean's attack, which is an attack 4, and the special is a double attack. My poor old Bastion, his defense is 4, so at the moment it's 4v4. Now if we took the defense action here, then we would be able to add a response card to our defense, but we didn't. But we could potentially play cards from our hand. This one has the defense icon, as does this one, so we could add 5 potentially. Yeah, I think I'm going to play this one. That's 3. Keep this one in my hand. We could get some aid. Duck and roll, add 1 on. Actually, I think I'm just going to stick with that, because this is the first attack as well. That's 7 versus 4, and then he gets to draw a response card. Yes, we did it! That's 7 versus 5. Now our Chilean does his second attack. Actually, I forgot to mention, not that it matters here, but this rough terrain insectoids, they don't have to worry about moving across rubble and what have you. There's no penalty for them. If we do move within 1 of an enemy, it didn't count for nests, alright, but if you move into rubble within 1, it's dangerous terrain next to an enemy, then you do have this failure event. We've not seen that yet, but we may do next as we try to push through the gap, although I've got an idea of how to widen that gap. For now, let's have that second attack. So it's 4 versus 4 once more. I've got this 2, this spiritual energy, which I could use. I may just have to take the wound. 4 versus 4 and whatever comes up on the card draw. Yeah, I think I'm just going to take the hit. So he pulls a response. It's a 2. Yep, he's hit me. Which means I drop down from 6 to 5. It gives me 1 less action point and a little less defence for the next turn. And not only do we take a wound, reduce our hit points, we also take a wound card drawn from the top of the deck here. So, smashed tendons. But these wound cards go to your hand, and the problem with these is obviously they're clogging up your hand. So when we rest, these take up a space. So you do want to get rid of them. So we can use this on perhaps a non-critical fight to reduce our attack by 1, at least then to get it out of our hand, back into our deck. So it will get shuffled back in, but we can heal and thereby remove these from our deck altogether. Next up is the guards. 1, 2, 3. He's out of range. He's out of range. This one is in range. Guards have a range of 3, an attack of 2. So again, everyone's hitting this guy. It's 2 versus 3 defense now. I'm going to play my spiritual energy. So 2 versus 5. I told you this was tough. 5 versus 5. That's equal to, so he doesn't beat us. So we're okay. Now, the summoner. Actually, this point here is blocking line of sight, so he's going to move. Should have moved round here more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I think that's in line of sight, and you can tell this is where this thing comes in handy. But that does have line of sight. So the summoner, range 1 to 6, attack 3 versus defense 3. And I could offer a little bit of defense. I think I'm going to do that. Now you can play any card as 1 aid, but Elazabal can play any card as 2 aid instead. If we look at his ability here, it says any card you discard for aiding counts as 2 instead of the standard 1. Okay, so any card can be discarded as a 1, but Elazabal can call it 2 instead. And obviously that's 2 minus 1 because we're 2 squares away. So what does that give us? 3 versus 3 plus 1, 4. 3 versus 4. So yes, 4 versus 4. That doesn't beat us, so that's no wound on the summoner. Alright, looking good. Now I'm actually going to wrap up here. I need to get this prototype back to the designer and hand it on to the next reviewer. But we've shown you, I think, enough to give you an idea about how the basic mechanics work. I'll be heading off to this treasure. That's just a proxy. Opening up the box if I can get there and drawing up these treasures. We've got things like the shadow cloak of, what's that, Haraka. The hero wearing this cloak is protected by a shadow effect. The range of monsters targeting the hero wearing the cloak is decreased to 1, so they can't do range attacks on him. We've got potions of healing, some more weapons. This looks like a poisonous arrow. If the attack hits, it does 2 points of damage to the target. Very nice. Okay, so there's lots of different treasures. The artwork's really cool on these. Victims. All we need to do here, incidentally, these things can go in your inventory. You've got an active slot here for an item, or one in your backpack, like so. So rescue victims is straightforward. So the plan here was to use Simmer to push back. Let's see, so yeah, on the rondel, I'd be looking to get Simmer onto the special, so that's on 2 actions. Simmer's special number says Move all enemies in the cone-shaped area of effect up to 4 squares away from you. And these cone attacks have a range of 6. Remember, her range is 1 to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Up to 4 squares away from you. So we can push this back. Push this guy back. And this hopefully clears the space then. I suspect that we're looking at Bastion doing a rest. So Alazabal would go next. So he'd be looking at a move action. So he gets a card draw, hoping for a big number. So we've got 2 actions. So we'll try and get this guy. Where's he standing here? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll only get him as far as there. So we're hoping for something big off this, yeah. So there's not much more we can do in terms of moving through, but we're trying to get everyone through this gap if we can. We've obviously made ourselves a little bit of a harder job rescuing the victim now. But picking up victims is fine. You just go alongside next to them, you kind of pick them up, and then you put them in your backpack, and then carry them to the exit. All the while these enemies are chasing us down. So you can see that although the map looks quite small, there's a lot going on here. You can really boost up your movement and sprint across the map when you need to, or open up treasure, get some of these treasure points, treasure cards. Incidentally, some of these you've got to look out for, because there's booby traps. Like this is a bear trap. A huge bear trap snaps your hand, 1 point of damage, and a wound card. A fireball trap. The chest explodes in a fireball. Fireball trap deals a strength 3 attacks each of its adjacent creatures. Okay, so there's some real nasty things in there if you're if you're not careful. Booby traps. I'll leave you now with one last shot of the board. Look out for Perdition's Mouth Abyssal Rift on Kickstarter. It's something a little bit different, and I think a little bit special for a dungeon crawler. Bye for now.